So lately I've been posting stories about me playing around with a 3D printer. It's an Elegoo Neptune 4 Pro. I bought it because of reviews. It says it's like the best bang for buck 3D printer out there. And I've always had an interest in 3D printing. I always wanted to try it, and now that I had the opportunity to buy a 3D printer, I did it. And I made some pretty cool stuff. I made the Buddha thing, which I gave to my mother. She was pretty happy with it. That was the very first 3D print I ever did. And then I did some benchies to benchmark my 3D printer. And the first two had some problems, you know, like, yeah, there. And a friend told me about, hey, you gotta turn the fans on. Took the advice, and there you go. A lot more perfect. Not super perfect, but yeah, that looks a lot better. My most recent, as of this recording, is this. This is a flower pot. That's why it's got holes in the bottom. Look at that. It took 2 hours, 42 minutes, and look at the texture on that. It looks sick. It's amazing. I made this in my room. Well, in my other room, my workshop. I've been trying out 3D printing, and I plan to make more stuff. Who knows? I want to try out whatever I see online, you know, in printables, and what is that thing, something, try those out, and then maybe even in the future I make my own 3D models that I can then print. It's a whole new dimension in making stuff. And so I was so excited that I broadcast my interest on Facebook stories and Instagram stories by proxy. I was quite excited about it, and then it got me thinking, you know, okay, I don't do this social media stuff very often, and then all of a sudden I'm posting stories about this stuff, and it makes me feel a little weird because people see it, and they have their own reactions to it. I can categorize people's reactions to it into four different kinds. You know, the first one is like, hey, cool, that's nice, all right. Number two is like someone who has greater knowledge in 3D printing actually giving me tips and advice. Like my friend Buddy, he told me about turning on the fans for better cooling, so I did, and hey, it turned out quite great. You know, I learned something there. Thanks, Buddy. Number three is like, hey, yo, you know, I think you can make me this stuff. You know, can you try? And that was all right, you know, although, you know, maybe I should charge them. But for some of the stuff that I'm also interested in, hey, maybe I could do it for free, you know, pro bono. You know, it's more experience. There's the fourth kind, and that's what really got me thinking. Like, at least a couple of people have told me, hey, maybe you're bored, you're lost, maybe you're just lonely, maybe you should get married. You're an old kid playing with toys. Don't worry about it. I'm not actually offended, you know. I kind of expected that response because you know, they're not wrong. I'm an old kid playing with toys. That's my Christmas, and my Christmas was tinkering with that thing. In the meantime, others are like spending quality time with their family, you know. You know, it got me thinking, you know, why am I getting into stuff like 3D printing and other pursuits? I even wrote a blog post about this. I wrote about surrogate activities, basically, you know, things that you do to pass the time and maybe distract you from the inevitability of your death, distract you from your existential dread. It's not necessary for survival. And I get it, you know, I understand. In the past, I would have been offended by people judging me for whatever I'm doing. You can't really control what they think or say, but you can control what you do with your time, what you do with your life, and how you respond to their judgment. And this year has been, I think, the very first year. 2023 has been the very first year I really felt like I'm a grown-ass man. Maybe I am lonely. It is what it is. Whatever it is I'm doing right now, making this video, 3D printing, writing on a blog that barely anyone reads, pretending I'm Jim Ross in a local pro wrestling promotion. If that makes me weird, so be it. Hey, it's my kind of weird. I get to control that. I'm comfortable with being that. I'm comfortable with being me.